Okay, let us start with today's class. This is Zumaira Samin, contract lecturer in Government Polytechnic Varangal, and the subject is simple stresses and strain. Uh, Major topic is simple stresses and strain from the subject General Mechanical Engineer. So, what is the objective of this PPT is to able to understand what are the engineering materials, what are the different types of engineering materials, external forces, types of loads. So let us discuss about the materials. So material is synonymous with substance and is anything made of matter. Anything made of matter. So matter is nothing but a material. So if you combine together to the matter, so then it is called as a material. Next, the term material is used more narrowly to refer to substance or components with certain physical properties. So material is nothing but it is in physical. It is in physical. The material is in physical. Materials are the substance which contain certain matter. So when you combine the matter, it is called as a material. So material are useful for the engineering applications such as structure of multi-stored building and aircrafts. In multi-stored building, you are going to use the cast iron and all. And in aircraft also, you are going to use cast iron, malleable cast iron, either ferrous materials or non-ferrous materials. In a spacecraft, you are going to use. Next, in a missile, you are going to use. You are going to make a components of machine tools. So next, let us come to the topic classification of materials. So materials are broadly classified into metals and its alloys. For example, iron, copper, aluminium, steel, etc. So next is non-metals. For example, wood, glass, rubber, plastics, etc. So metals are ferrous materials and non-metals are non-ferrous materials. Ferrous materials are nothing but which contains iron. Non-ferrous materials are nothing but which doesn't contain iron. Next, copper. So this is the copper. This is the other turbulator, inner turbulator, outer turbulator. So these are the outer fields. When you take out inside, so this is the inner turbulator. Next is the gold is the material. Various utilities like bowls and all. This is an iron. These are the wooden components. So wood is nothing but which comes under non-ferrous materials only. And iron which has only iron content is called as a ferrous materials. Plastic is also in this is a material but it comes under non-ferrous material. Why? Because it doesn't contain iron. So various engineering materials. The first is elastic materials. So elasticity is nothing but when you deform it, it regain its original position. So whatever the deformation takes place, but still it regains its original shape. Okay, regain their original shape after reformation whenever the external load is removed. So whatever the external load is applied onto it. Okay, next is plastic materials. which undergo continuous deformation. Plastic materials are nothing but which undergoes continuous deformation. They will not regain their original shape after deformation. So when the external load is removed, so either you remove the external load, either you apply a deformation, either you do the deformation, either you apply the external load, and it doesn't regain its original shape. So that material is nothing but the plastic material. Elasticity is nothing but whatever the external load is, it gains original shape. Next, various engineering materials. Rigid materials does not undergo any deformation under the influence of external forces. So it does not undergo any deformation under the influence of external forces. In the universe, no material is neither elastic. Nor plastic, nor rigid. Okay. What is the strength of materials? So strength of material is nothing but which deals with the behavior of bodies under the action of external loads. So what you are doing, which deals with the behavior of bodies, under the action of external loads. So the deformation under the load is of major interest. And to find out whether or not a given member fails under the load. What is a load? Any external force. So if you are taking any wooden or any rock, and you are applying it on a body, that is nothing but an external force. So any external force acting on a body is called as load. So if you are lifting a 2 kgs, so the 2 kgs is nothing but the external force. So load is nothing but any external force acting on the body is called as a load. So external force may be either dead weight not in motion, for example load hanging to crane, etc. Friction force due to relative movement, for example bearings, clutches, belts, etc. Next, load. Inertia force due to rate of change of momentum, for example reciprocating parts of an engine. Centrifugal forces due to rotation, for example cranks, pulleys, flywheels, etc. What are the types of loads? So loads may be classified as given below, according to manner of application, according to nature of application, according to effect produced. So what are the types of the loads? According to the manner of application, point or concentrated load. So if you are having a beam, a long stick, on that if at a certain point or at a concentrated load at a certain point, if you are applying the force, is called as a point or concentrated load. So load acting over a small area is considered as point or concentrated load, and it is expressed in newtons or kilonewtons. See, this is a point load. Here at any position you are holding, at any position you are applying the force is called as a point load. Next, distributed load. So load is distributed. If you have to act at 20 kgs of load, So what you are going to do? You are going to distribute the 20 kgs load into like 4 kgs, 5 kgs, 2 kgs area or along the length. The total, the 20 kgs is totally distributed in the total length, so that there won't be any force at single point, and the force will be normal. And if at a single point the load is very high, then it is going to break. Then the load is going to, then the beam is going to break. So a load may be uniformly or non-uniformly distributed. Okay, a load may be uniformly or non-uniformly distributed along the length or over an area, and it is expressed in Newton per meter square or Newton per meter. See here, this is the uniformly distributed load. Here the load is distributed uniformly. Here uniformly varying load. So whenever you are going to distribute low to the high, you are going to distribute the load from low to high, whereas in uniformly distributed load, at each and every point there is a same load. So that is the difference between uniform and uniform varying load and uniform distributed load. So, and next, according to the nature of application. So according to nature of application, it is static load. Okay, next. As we were discussing about the types of loads. So according to nature of application. According to the nature of application, we are having a static load. So it increase the load from 0 to certain value and remain constant. It increase the load from 0 to certain value and remain constant during entire time of the application. For example, self weight of machine element. Next is dynamic load. It refers to the impact or falling load in which the time duration is small fraction of seconds. For example, hammer blow on nail. Okay. Hammer blow on nail. Next, fluctuation or cyclic load. If the magnitude and direction varies continuously, for example, traffic crossing the bridge. Types of loads. So according to effect produced, tensile load. If the action of load is to increase the length of the structural member, then the applied load is tensile. So when you are applying a load from one side, there is a certain deformation. Okay, if the action of load is to increase the length, so whenever if you will apply the force, the deformation takes place. So when the deformation takes place, the load will the length goes on increasing. Okay, then the applied load is called as a tensile load. So the load will be from one side. So when you are applying the load from one side, it tends to deform, and when it tends to deform, it increase in length and decrease in the dia is called as a tensile load. Next is compressive load. Compressive load is nothing but the load which is compressed in between two, or the load is acting from both the sides of the member. So if the action of axial load is to shorten the length, so length will shorten and the diameter will increase. So the member is said to be in compression, and the applied load is compressive load. So what is the compressive load? When the load is from both the sides and the length will decrease, and the length will decrease, and the diameter will increase. So that is called as a compressive load. Next is shear load. So the load acts perpendicular to axis of structural member. It tends to slide the surface with respective to other or to cut the part. So whenever you are applying the load, it tends to move. So it tends to slide or it tends to move. So when it tends to move, the load is called as a shear load. Next, so see here. So you are applying, you are taking a two member, then you are applying the load in between. So when you will apply the load in between, both the loads, one is acting, one will move towards the A and one will move towards this direction. So when both the loads move in opposite direction, then it is called as a shear load. Next, torsional load. So the load which tends to twist the member. So whenever you are applying the load, what will happen? The member will turn in the angle, twist in the angle. The load which tends to twist the member is called as a torsion load. Types of load. Next is bending load. It is a transverse load tending to bend the structural member. So in this class we are able to understand what are the engineering materials, different types of materials, engineering materials, external forces and types of forces. Now the material which regains its original shape and size after the removal of extra load is known as elastic material. Next question is, the load which tends to twist the member is called as a torsional load. When you are applying the load and it tends to move in an angle. In this PPT we will be able to understand what are the mechanical properties, different mechanical properties, simple stresses and simple strain. So let us discuss about the mechanical properties. The first one is strength. So it is defined as the capacity to resist the external load. It is defined as the capacity to resist the external load under given condition. So under given condition is called as a strength. So it is defined as the capacity to resist the external load under given condition is called as a strength. So what are the types of strength? So depending upon the type of load, strength are classified as, you are having compressive strength, you are having tensile strength, you are having shear strength. Next, deformation of solids. So all objects are deformable. It is possible to change the shape or size or both of an object through the application of external forces. When the forces are removed, the object tends to regain its original shape. So whenever you are applying the forces, the object tends to regain its original shape. The object tends to regain its original shape. That is called as a deformation of solids. So this is a deformation that exhibits elastic behavior. It is also called as a elasticity. Next, elasticity is nothing but ability to regain its original shape after load is removed. For example, steel, copper, etc. So this is a diagram, stress and strain curve. So see here, stress will increase and strain will decrease. And this is called as a elastic deformation. It's called as a elastic deformation. Next, plasticity. Plasticity is nothing but the ability not to regain its original shape after removal of fluid. So whenever if you are taking a plastic material and you are applying a load, what will happen? Sudden break will consider, or breakage of material is possible, or change in the shape is possible. Okay, for example, almost all metals are plastic after some limit. So after some limit, all metals are plastic. So see, this also is a plastic deformation, and the stress will increase and the strain will decrease. Okay, the stress will increase and the strain will decrease, and you are going to get a permanent deformation there. Okay, both the stress and strain will meet at a point, and you are not going to get the proper shape, original shape, after removal of load. Is called as a mechanical properties. So next is ductility. So ability to deform under tensile load. So whenever you are applying a tensile load, tensile force or tensile load is nothing but when you will apply the force from one side, and when you apply the force from one side, you are going to get a certain deformation. So certain change will occur. So that is nothing but a ductility. So that change, the mechanical material should deform. Okay, it should have the ability to deform, or it should have the ability to withstand the tensile load. Tensile load is nothing but the load acting upon one side of the material, and there is a elongation. For example, wire drawing with Cu, aluminium, etc. Okay, next is malleability. Malleability is nothing but ability to deform under compressive load. So compressive load is nothing but when you are applying the force both the sides. So when you are applying both the sides, you are going to get a certain deformation. So a certain material should be such that it should deform it, and it should have ability to deform under the compressive load is called as a malleability. For example, sheet forming like containers, buckets, etc. Okay, next is the stiffness. Stiffness is nothing but property by which the material does not deform or deflect by external loads. So whatever the external load may be, so whenever you are applying the load, the material will be straight and it will be stiff. Okay, the material will be straight and stiff and it doesn't deform. Property by which the material does not deform or deflect by external loads is called as a stiffness. Next is the toughness. Ability of the material to absorb the shock loads. Okay, the ability of the material to absorb the shock loads before failure. So before failure, you are going to observe the shock load. Okay, stress force, strain force. So this is a curve. This is a stress and strain curve. Average stress into final strain equal to energy absorbed equal to work done. Okay, next is brittleness. What is the brittleness? Immediate failure of material without any permanent deformation. So immediate failure of material without any permanent deformation. For example, glass casted. Hardness is the property of a material which avoids indentation, or penetration or scratching. It's called as a hardness. Next, for example, tungsten, titanium, etc. Next, creep. So there will be a slow and progressive deformation of material under constant load and temperature. For example, magnesium alloys, polymers. For example, magnesium alloys and polymers. Next, what is a simple stress? The internal resistive force offered by the body for the external load per unit cross-sectional area is known as induced stress or simple stress. Its units are Newton per mm square, Newton per meter square, kg per centimeter square. It is generally denoted by stress or load or stress. Mathematically, the stress equal to load by area. Load by cross-sectional area. Simple strain. So when a body is subjected to external load, its dimensions are changed and deformation takes place. And the ratio of change in dimension to the original dimension is known as a strain. So change in length by original length is known as strain. And it can also be defined as ratio of change in length to the original length. Okay, and it is denoted by E. So simple strain is denoted by E, small e, and it is the formula. The formula is change in length to the original length. Change in length can be given as delta L and original length can be given as L. So the formula is E equal to delta L by L, and it has no units. So see here, E equal to delta L by L is nothing but the simple strain. And what are the units of stress and strain? The basic unit for force or load is Newton, which is equal to kg meter per second square. Okay, next, 1 kilogram kg weight is equal to 9.81 newtons. In industry, the units of stress are normally newtons per square millimeter, so Newton per mm square, but this is not a base unit for calculations. So strain has no units, as it is the ratio between quantities of the same units. Okay, delta L is nothing but the mm, and L is the units are in mm. So mm and mm get cancelled, and you are not going to get any units there. So strain has no dimensions. Okay, the strain has no dimensions. Next, it is expressed at a percentage or in microstrain, ms. A strain of 1 ms is an extension of 1 part per million. A strain of 0.2% is equal to 2000 millisecond mu second. Now, now let us see the quiz. Failure due to reversal and repeated loads is called as fatigue, and a load is a scalar or vector quantity. Property used to draw the wires is ductility. Next, shock absorbing capacity of material is called as a toughness property. Units of strain is no units. On completion of this PPT, we will be able to understand about the different types of stresses, various types of stresses. First is depending upon the direction of load. So depending upon the direction of load applied, the following stress are induced in a component. In the component is tensile stress, compressive stress, shear stress. Tensile stress. Now the load acting along the axis. It is acting along the axis and perpendicular to the area of cross section is called as normal or axial load. Okay, so when the load is acting from one side along the axis, only perpendicular to the area of cross section. So if the load is acting from one side is called as a tensile stress, normal or axial load. So the axial load tending to stretch, that is increase in length, the bar is called as a tensile load, and a corresponding stress is called as a tensile stress. So the tensile stress is represented as sigma suffix t, and it is given stress equal to formula is load by area. Load is represented in P, represented as P. So here you are having a tensile stress. So when there is a tensile stress, the load should also be tensile. So sigma T equal to tensile load by area of cross section. Okay, next is, so this cylinder is in tension, load and area. Next is compressive stress. Compressive stress, the axial load tending to compress. Okay, compressive stress is nothing but if you are applying the force from both the sides is called as a compressive stress. So the axial load tending to compress, that is shorten the length, the bar is called compressive load, and the corresponding stress is called compressive stress. Okay, so when you are applying the load from both the sides is called as a compressive load, and the stress is called as a compressive stress. So the compressive stress is denoted as sigma C, and is equal to compressive load by area of cross section. Okay, what are the types of stresses? So this cylinder is in compression. Here, see here, the direction are in the both the sides, from front and back. From both the sides there is a load. So when there is a load from both the sides, it is called as a compressive load, and the elongation or deformation takes place, that stress is called as a compressive stress. Next, tension and compression. So see here, this is a tension and compression. So tension is nothing but the load acting only on one side, whereas in compression the load is acting both the sides. So what are the types of stresses? The longitudinal load tending to cut or slide the part is called as shear load, and the corresponding stress is called as shear stress, and it is denoted by the symbol tau. Shear stress equal to shear load by area of cross section. What are the types of stresses? Shear stress. Here there is a shear force, shear force. Strains, types of strains. Strains are also classified depending upon the type of load acting on member are as follows. First is tensile strain, second is compressive strain, third is shear strain. So types of strains. When a body is in a state of stress, deformation takes place. A simple tensile member tends to elongate and a compressive member shortens. So the ratio of change in length to the original length is called as a strain. Next, tensile strain. It is the ratio of change in length to the original length, and it is denoted by E equal to delta L by A. Next, compressive strain. Compressive strain also is represented in the same manner. What are the types of strain? Shear strain. Consider a block rigidly fixed to bottom surface and a force P acts along its top face. Example, tangentially to the top face. Under the action of shear force, the block ABCD is distorted to A, B, C and D. The total deflection at the point is X and is on length Y. The deflection X per unit length of member called shear strain, denoted by the symbol. Shear strain equal to pi equal to X by pi. So see here, these are the types of strains. And a summary of this PPT is, we have clearly discussed about the stresses and tensile stress, compressive stress, shear stresses. Next, different types of strains also we have discussed. The change in length to the original length is known as lateral strain, linear strain. Next, when two equal and opposite forces are acting tangentially according to the resisting area such that the body fails, then the stress is known as tensile stress. Discuss the review from the previous classes, previous PPTs. What we have learned, we have seen that a material is also known, a material is made up of matter, and the matter will be in a physical condition. So the term material is used for matter, and so material is a substance which contains certain matter is called as a material, and material are used in engineering applications. like structure of a multi-stored building like iron and all, and in aircraft you are going to use, in spacecraft, in a missile, and the components of machine tool also you are going to use. And what are the classification of materials? So materials are broadly classified into metals and in alloys: iron, copper, aluminium, steel, etc. Non-metals are examples are wood, glass, rubber, plastics, etc. Next is copper. These are the copper. Next is the gold. Next, various utilities: copper, iron, aluminium, and all. Iron. So this is an iron. Next, these are the wooden. These are the plastic chairs. So we have seen various. Engineering materials which we are using in order to fulfill our daily needs. Next is elastic materials. What are the elastic materials? So when you are applying a sudden load, or when you are applying a load, then there is a deformation is taking place. Either whatever the deformation is taking place, then after taking out the external force, it is going and regaining its original shape. So generally, as we see that, take any component, when you will apply the load, certain deformation will take place onto it. But in the elastic material, there won't be any deformation. Okay, there won't be any deformation. Whatever the external load may be there, you are going to get the original shape. So next, see the plastic material. Though you have certain load, even though if you have a certain load also, when you will apply a load onto it, the shape will change. When the shape will change, it is called as a plastic material. And rigid materials, so does not undergo any deformation. So rigid means stiff, so you are not going to get any influence of external forces. In the universe, no material is neither elastic nor plastic nor rigid. And what is the strength of materials? Which deals with behavior of bodies under the action of external loads. Next, the deformation under the load is of major interest. To find out whether or not a given member fails under the load. Okay, what is a load? Any external force acting on a body is called as a load. Okay, so any external force acting on a body is called as a load. So external force may be either the dead weight. So either it may move or either it doesn't move, dead weight. So weight not in motion. Example, load hanging to crane, etc. Next, frictional force due to relative motion, like bearings, clutches, belts, etc. Next load is inertia force. So due to the rate of change of momentum, like reciprocating parts of an engine which rotates at certain angle. Okay, so next is centrifugal forces due to rotation of cranks, pulleys, flywheels, etc. And the loads may be classified as given below according to the manner of application, according to the nature of application, according to the effect produced. So these all we have discussed in the last classes, and we have even seen the types of different loads, like point load, distributed load, uniformly distributed or uniformly varying load. And according to nature of application, we have seen static load, we have seen dynamic load, we have seen fluctuating loads, and according to the effect produced, we have seen certain loads like compressive, tensile, and shear. We have also seen the bending loads, how the bending will takes place. We have discussed all this.